When you get up there in front of an audience, you might be thinking, do I look good? Is this a good suit? Is my hair okay? If you're thinking that, you're thinking the wrong thing. But if you get in front of an audience, you want to be focused on the audience. It's creating that conversation with the audience. But even as you start creating that conversation with the audience, then you might start thinking, am I really making a connection? How do I know that I'm connecting with these people? How do I know that this speaking up here is actually working? That's a challenge. That's a real challenge as a speaker, to know when you're on stage that you're actually making that connection you want to make. You're actually doing the stuff you want to do up there. Not only you're doing it, but your audience is getting it and understanding it. So that can be a challenge. But if you're aware of your audience and you're focused on your audience, you will notice certain things that they're doing. Because the great thing about people is people will tell you or show you how they're feeling and thinking if you watch them. They will give indications. There are some things that give major indications about your audience. So when you see these things happen, you start thinking, okay, all right, that's working. That's working. Some of them are obvious. Some of them are more involved. But all these things will help you know that, yeah, I'm landing here. I'm working. Because as a speaker, you got to get that feeling for the audience for the back and forth. Your job as speakers is to make that connection with your audience, and that audience to make that connection with you. By being aware of your audience and what they're doing and what's going on with them, you can kind of take their temperature and understand what's happening. Because then, if the speech isn't going so well, you say, oh, well, I got to tighten this up or change this. And then you watch these key reactions. Oh, I'm getting them. Okay, we're good. Or you try something, it didn't work. Oops, not getting the reaction I wanted. And then you try some other things. It's all about being able to have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of change, maybe in your delivery, maybe in your pace, as you're trying different things to see what will work best for the audience. But the audience will tell you what works best for them. They won't keep it secret. They'll definitely let you know. And it's an understanding that, how that works, it's what's going to make you a better speaker and make you better at making that deep, strong connection with your audience. And so today, you're going to find out more about that. You're going to find about several things the audience does that are really obvious cues to you that, okay, that's working. That's working, and that's working pretty darn well. And each of the cues mentioned will indicate bigger and greater and deeper connection. The first cue is kind of a nice connection, but not a big thing. The second and third cues that go deeper and deeper into more powerful connections. You could say higher and higher in level of power. So one level of power here, and then all the way up to here. And you make that level of connection, and that's good. Then you're doing well with that audience. Then you're making everything work up there. And that can be a challenge. You get up there and say, well, I don't know, is it going well, isn't it? Well, if you get out of your head, not think about, hey, how I look up here. Get out of that. Then you can start focusing, okay, I started to see that thing there. I started to see what the audience is doing. Okay, I see how that works. I see that connection being made. That's great. That's good. I can use that. You understand how that works. And why it all helps your speech come together, helps everything just work as a whole. And it makes you step out of your speech in your head and really make that connection to the audience. Because if you're going to find these things and tell you where their speech is going, you're going to have to be really focused on your audience. You have to know your speech well enough so you can focus on your audience, be aware of them, be thinking of them. But there are several things your audience will do when things are going well. If you don't see any of these, that's not good. You don't see one or two, okay, but if you see all three, that's a good sign. You get up in front of your audience, there you are, you're talking and talking and talking. And if you just keep on talking without any awareness, the audience could just go into some other realm or in some other place. And that, of course, isn't good. So you got to kind of say, okay, this is working. I got to double down on this and then got to relax on that. And there's something that the audience can do. And when they do it, it indicates that you have had that moment of connection. It's a simple, powerful, obvious way you get to thinking, that worked. That actually worked. Yeah. And if you can figure out a way to do this thing regularly, then you're better off. As long as you're out of your head. You're out of your head, you're not thinking about, oh, how do I look up here? Fine. You focus on your eyes thinking about it. Then you can be aware and say, oh, that's what happened. Okay. Good. Want to get more of that. Because this first reaction is something that once you get it, once it starts to work, you start thinking, okay, well, I could use some more of that. And it's a challenge. Doesn't go right? That's not good. But it does go right. That's good. And again, it's kind of a fine-tuning back and forth until you hit that moment where, boom, okay, that worked. Got that. All right, great. And then once you get some reaction, you can try to get more reaction. But you have to get some reaction first. Simple, basic reaction. You come up here, it's not just about your speaking and going on and on and on. It's about making that deep connection that ultimately can lead to a transformation. It's about being aware of those signs, those little signs that say, okay, this is working. I can keep on doing this and this will be good. And the first sign is something that some people make their whole speaking career just looking for that one sign. That's it. That's all I want. Other people, part of the package, and they want more than that. Probably for you, it's the latter. You want more than that. But it's an important starting place. And if you can just get just that much, then you can go and develop and work from there. And that first thing you want is laughter. Laughter. It may be a chuckle, it may be a snort, it may be a guffaw, it may be a whole huge laugh, belly laugh. But you want some form of laughter. You may be thinking, well, Tim, what if I screw up on stage and really muck things up? I mean, that can cause laughter, but that's not good. Well, it's true, it's not good if you just keep on messing up. If you make one mistake or two mistakes and the audience laughs at it, that's all right. All you have to do is have what the professional speakers call a tagline. Something to say after it that gets you even more laughter, but it helps to get laughter that you control. So if you make a mistake, something happens, the whole audience starts laughing, you can just turn to them and say, I meant to do that. And see if you can get some additional laughs from that. Just think about all the things that can go wrong, and then think about the different things you can do to try to make them go right. Now, not every audience will laugh. As I understand it, engineers are notorious for being pretty serious. So if you're speaking to a whole audience of engineers, you may not get much laughter. It's just the way it goes. But if you can get laughter from an engineer, you're probably pretty funny. Your speech is probably pretty funny, and that's good. Because the difference between a humorous speech and not a humorous speech is it's a humorous speech if people laugh. If people don't laugh, it's not a humorous speech. So you want to get that laughter connection. That'll take your speech a little bit more, because humorous speeches are engaging, interest people. Oh yeah, hey. In fact, when people are booking speakers, it's quite normal for them to expect the speaker to be a little bit entertaining. But that's just the beginning. All right, you made them laugh. As the song and Singing in the Rain goes, make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh. You did it. You made them laugh. So your audience is laughing. That automatically means that there's a connection between you and the audience. You did something, they reacted because of what you did. That creates a reaction. And then maybe you had a tagline that got more people involved, a little bit more chuckles. That helps too. Great. Fantastic. That's the beginning step. You get a little laughter, if you can, that's great. Because that indicates this lower level of powerful connection with the audience. Increase in power, you're looking for a different side. Laughter is great. Wonderful. It connects you with people, they enjoy it, it means they're having a good time. But hopefully, you're not just giving a speech to entertain, you're also giving a speech to transform. Ideally, every speech you do should be a transformative speech where people start one way, hear what you say, do what you're talking about, and change to another way. They transform your lives. Your speech transforms them and changes them into something they could have been before they heard your speech. That's the purpose of speaking. That's a really good speech. So they're just laughing at stuff. That's some connection, but laughing can be also a distancing sort of thing. It's like, interesting, yes, okay, funny, but hey. So it's some type of a connection, but not necessarily that strong of one. You're looking for a different indicator from your audience. You're looking for an indicator from your audience is like, okay, this is beyond laughter. And you may be thinking, Tim, does your audience really indicate so much what they're thinking? Amazingly enough, they do. If you can be aware of it. This next indicator is a little bit subtle, can be a little difficult to see, but if you watch for it, it'll tell you you're getting through. And you'll notice it. You got to watch carefully, though, and just watch different people. Just kind of scan the audience, look at different people, see what they're doing. If you notice this, you know you're starting to make that sort of a connection. Laughter, great. But if they can do this next thing can happen, that would be wonderful, because that indicates you're going to a whole new level of power connection. Laughter here maybe, and then this next thing here. And that is if you notice your audience nods. Nodding. Like this. Now, don't expect your audience to do one of these numbers, like some sort of bobble-headed doll, because that makes you a little dizzy. A little bit dizzy indeed. But a little nod is okay, because that indicates you're getting through. Sometimes you'll get the full nod. Sometimes you'll get the reluctant nod. Not quite a full nod, but you got a point there, all right, I'll give you that. But still, it means you're getting through. Whatever points you have, whatever you're trying to talk about, the audience is saying, okay, either I agree with it, it's great, or at least I understand it and I'm open to hearing about it. And that's great. So now you got laughter and you're getting the nod. You may have heard that expression, getting the nod. That's literally what it means. It means you're talking to someone and they are nodding. You're getting the nod. That says the audience is saying, go ahead, keep going, keep it rolling. Okay, I'm with you. I got it. Keep it going. And once you get that, your audience literally not agreeing, you're literally encouraging to keep going. It's great. Because then you know your speech is going somewhere. Talk is going somewhere, they're getting interested, getting involved, they're nodding, they're saying, all right, interested in thinking about it, yeah, okay, great. That's exactly what you want. So you got laughter, you got nodding. One more thing you need to do. If you can get this other thing, it is so powerful, it is so great, it's so wonderful to have it happen. A little hard to see, but when you can see it, and it's really happening, then you know you're really making that deep connection with the audience. Okay, you've gotten some laughter, which is great. The audience is laughing a little bit, maybe at you, maybe with you, maybe a little bit of both. That's okay. You're making that beginning level of connection, about here. And then, as they're laughing, some people are nodding. Some people, if you start making particular points, deeper and stronger points, they're doing one of these numbers. Or one of these numbers. Whether they fully agree or whether they're just kind of going along with it, at least you're making that connection. They're saying, yeah, you've got a point, keep going, keep talking. I'm with you. They're nodding along. They're giving you the nod, literally giving you the nod to continue. That's a great sign. A great sign. There's one sign a little bit higher. You see, if you just have laughter, then they could be like, well, you're an idiot. And that's funny. Or that's a funny point. But if they're laughing and they're nodding, then you're probably not an idiot. They're like laughing and nodding like, yeah, I guess we're all idiots here. Probably not. They're laughing, they're nodding, and saying, funny, but true. Funny point, I get it, but yeah, it's true. I understand. I've been there. Yeah. Okay. Laughter and nodding, very powerful, very great to see it out there. Now, as mentioned, nodding is a little bit of a challenge. You got to be really aware of how they're nodding, and if they're not, your head's going down a little bit because, probably not going to happen. It's okay. Laughter, maybe a little chuckle, maybe a grin. Little hints here and there. But these things are easy to see compared to the next one. I mean, you can hear a chuckle. You can easily see a smile break out in somebody's face. They give you the nod, yeah, okay, fine. But from the speaker's perspective on stage, there's some things the audience does that can be hard to see because of where you are, facing the audience. Facing the audience limits your perspective. You always look at the audience one way. You can't always see everything that goes on. Laughter, yes. Nodding, yes. This next thing, not as much. But this next thing is the deepest commitment you're going to get from that audience. Short of them actually jumping up on stage and embracing you in a bear hug, which, by the way, if it does happen, indicates you've made a really strong connection. And maybe a new relationship. That's a whole other story. But this next thing really indicates a deep connection. And that is the audience leans forward. If someone in your audience leans forward, wow, that's something. Because leaning forward is a physical expression. What it indicates, I want to hear you better. Because you hear your ears. If you want to hear something more, want to hear more of that, you move your ears toward the thing you're looking at. Your ears move forward, leaning forward. I want to hear you better. That's the best way you can communicate that. Nodding. Go ahead, continue. Leaning forward. I want to hear more of that. Tell me more. I'm interested. The challenge for the speaker is not always obvious when your audience is leaning forward. So watch for telltale things. If you've been looking at someone and suddenly their face gets bigger, thinking, whoa, that person's got a big face over there. Probably because they're leaning forward. Notice their posture. Also notice if people suddenly get shorter. Because when you lean forward, you will get shorter. You'll go here and here. So lean forward. Oh, look at that, I'm getting shorter. I'm leaning forward. As they're really leaning forward, they'll be really, really short. So watch for that in your audience. People, your audience suddenly starts to shrink in height. Probably they're shrinking in height and getting really fat faces. Probably they're leaning forward. Probably they're really engaged with what you say. Now, everyone in the audience won't do that. Maybe one or two, maybe three or four, depending how many people you have in your audience. But you get people leaning forward, you've got a really deep connection. When you're on stage, it's easy to get in your head. But if you want to be a good speaker, you've got to get out there in your audience's head and understand what they're about. And there are several signs you can look for. One simple one is laughter. If people are laughing and chuckling and really enjoying what you say, that is a great sign. That is a fantastic sign. It means everything is fun. Everything is fun. And if you make a mistake and people laugh at it, that's all right. Just add a tagline, a finishing line. So they're laughing. You can say, I plan to do that. Sometimes that works as a tagline. And then maybe you'll get an additional laugh. So you have the unexpected laugh, and then you get the laugh that you control, that you get from what you say. That helps make that connection and helps you take control of the laughter and use it as your own. Laughter is just a great way initially to build that powerful connection with the audience, about here. Then, of course, you want to build it even more. You want to look out for signs your audience is even more connected with you, and that is your audience nods. If your audience starts doing this, that means keep going. Keep going. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. I'm with you. They're considering it. Maybe they agree. Maybe they're just open to the idea. It's like, okay, I see your point. I see where it's going. And somewhere or another, the audience is indicating, okay, keep it. I want to see where this goes. I want to see more about it. Maybe they agree with your point. Maybe they think you have a point. Whether they agree with it or not is a different story. But at least they're open. They want this thing to keep on going, keep continuing. So watch the nodding. It's probably not going to be this one because of dizziness factors. But some degree of this, slow or even more aggressive, that happens, you're making that connection. And then for the highest level of connection, short of, as mentioned, someone jumping on stage and grabbing you in a bear hug, which may result in you having to have security intervene. Short of that is if your audience leans forward. Audience member leans forward. That means they want to hear more. They're moving their ears closer to you because they want to hear more of what you have to say. That is the most open expression you have from someone sitting, listening to another person. It means, I want to hear more of what you have to say. The thing about it from the point of view of the speaker is hard to tell when people are leaning forward because it's not as obvious as, say, laughing or people getting involved with nodding. The nodding is pretty obvious. But you can watch for little things. If someone's leaning forward, their face will get big. So if people start getting bigger faces around you, probably they're leaning forward. Also, they will tend to get shorter. So if your audience starts to shorten, notice their faces are getting bigger, which indicates they're leaning forward. And if you have an audience that's laughing, nodding, yeah, they're leaning forward, they're nodding, laughing, and leaning forward, boy, you have a really solid audience. You know it. And so now you understand a little bit more about what to look for in your audience. So when you get up on stage, you're thinking, how's this going? What's happening? And you start seeing those people, oh, there's a chuckle there, there's a laugh there, great, fantastic. And then you say, oh, there's a nod, I see them nodding. And then finally, ooh, that person leaned forward. I'm making a really deep connection here. You know, just keep on going through it. It's working really well. And if they lean back a little bit, it's all right. It's fine. See if anybody else is leaning forward, or change your approach a little bit, acknowledge it, whatever. See if you can get them to lean forward again. It's a delicate challenge to connect with the audience and figure out what works and what doesn't work. But as you come focused on the people out there, and focused on really impacting them and transforming them, being aware of laughing, nodding, and leaning will really help you make a deep, strong, long-lasting connection with the audience that will get people afterwards thinking, wow, what a great speech. What a great speaker. I really felt that connection.